This is my ultimate Coda Bassocyst guide versus the Murmur. It's got some things to it, something very critical that you'll need to have Helminth for to be able to get that critical chance over 100%. As you can see, we have some archon shards. I have an ability subsumed on here that we're using, etc. In case you just want to see the mods and get on your way, this is what they are, but I'm telling you, unless you watch my video and just listen to what I have to say here real quick, this is not just going to get you to where you need to be by doing mods by themselves. So let me show you what it can do. And I ran 3 full rounds of that deep elite Archimedia today versus the Murmur, and all 3 times I let in damage dealt. So just so you know, this thing does do a lot of damage, and we're going to show you right here. So I think that was like 6 shots. Okay, 7. So it took a total of 7 shots to get rid of them all. Let's do it one more time. Alright, that was 6. Probably only took 5. So, why am I using Rhino? Let me tell you about that real quick. Because until they make a Primed Cleanse the Murmur mod, I think it's just a waste to use a faction mod for just 30% damage. So I'm using Rhino because with growing power, you know, hopefully I do a little bit more than 30% bonus damage. Now this thing has a pretty cool alt fire thing, and I'm going to show you real quick something that can be really annoying when you're in a big group of enemies and you don't want it to trigger the special ability that it does. So let me just show you this real quick and I'll explain something and we'll get on to the entire build. But this is just a tip right here. Oh, we're gonna need to put that, let's pause the AI. Oh. Alright, so whenever you're sitting here and you're shooting at these enemies, see how this is red? Because if you're aiming at them when it's red, what happens is it does that finisher. So if you're in a group and you're just spamming the alt fire, you're gonna be shooting and all of a sudden you're gonna be teleporting and you're gonna be like, oh man, like I didn't want to do that. So here's a little tip I'm gonna show you real quick. Okay, so whenever you have the alt, whenever you're just planning on spraying the alt fire, you're going to want to do something like this. You're going to want to aim above their head. Alright, this is good. Fine, alright. So whenever you're shooting at a group of enemies, don't aim at them. See how it's red? You want to aim just above their head. That way... and they're all dead. But that way, for aiming above their head, you don't accidentally trigger that secondary ability and do the finisher and mess up your flow of the game. So I'm going to go back to the base of operations and tell you all about this while we're at it. Leave a like if I did something right. If there's something you could do better, write me a letter down in the comments. I'd love to talk about this. I've been doing really good these days, talking with everybody that leaves a comment on my channel. So let's get into it. Let me actually show you this first. The thing that is so key to getting this critical chance up above 200% is you need to invigorate whenever it's available, the 200 primary critical chance. This is actually a Revenant mod this week. I used my, whatever you call it, after you do 10 invigorations, you can put on in any Warframe. So I invigorated Rhino with a 200% critical chance. And I'm using Rhino because of Roar. Like I said, I think just the basic Cleanse Murmur mod is a waste of a slot right now. Until they have a primed version, I don't use it. When it comes to this here, we have the shards. We have 2 of these, the crimson ones, to help with the primary status chance. The green, don't worry about, that's from something I was doing this morning. And now I have electricity on here. I also from something from this morning, but Murmur take electricity damage. So it also adds a little bit, the electricity damage is boosted by how many crimson shards you have on here, etc. Nourish I have on here. Murmur are like resistant to viral, but I just have it on here from this morning. It just adds a little bit of damage. But you want to have Nourish on here versus any of these other factions anyway. So let's talk about the Rhino first. The thing's important with your Warframe. You have Vigilante mod set, You want to have those because that's going to help. See how it says 25 chance and hits, critical hits from primary weapons, because you're maxed out at 90%, right? So you want to have the Vigilante mods on here. The Arcanes, I have Arcane Avenger to also help with critical chance and Arcane Tempo, because this gun shoots so slow. And here's something cool about it. Every critical hit, you're going to get this 90% fire rate. You're almost always going to be shooting at a faster rate because of Arcane Tempo. My strength was like 254%, by the way, on there. All right, when it comes to the actual Coda Bassocyst itself, as things change, like I've said, this is just like a week out. We're going to be able to increase this damage here. The valence bonus right now is 31.3%. If you come down here, I'm saying it is actually 106% status. I'm saying it's 100% critical because technically it is, but it's really on paper it's 90. The only reason these numbers are in red is because I originally had this set to electricity. As you can see, it doesn't really change anything except the stats on the elemental damage, but I found that the radiation here, it does a little bit better versus the Murmur, I think, when you have this set to radiation. So here's the mods. Primed Point Blank, Shotgun Elementalist, because the electricity, Galvanized Hell, Primed Ravage, Vigilante Supplies, because when you're spamming that alt fire, it chews up so much ammo, so that's going to help a little bit. Shotgun Savvy, Vigilante Furvor, which is 45% fire rate, and also adding, that 25% chance. And important because we're losing 20% with this bonus 200 on critical deceleration. And Prime Charge Shell. So, that is a look at the mods in here. Something else. Primary Merciless for the Arcane. Now, another thing that's important, with my Ceramic Dagger, I actually have a pretty decent riven on here. Plus 221% puncture. And I'm using Melee Dodie. And it's maxing out at 1.8. This has 3,000 puncture damage, but the thing is that this only maxes out at 1.8. Just so you know, but I just add it because a little bit of a damage multiplier doesn't hurt. So that's pretty much it. I hope you liked the video. Like I said, comment below if you think you could do something better. What would you change about it if it were you? You can check out, I have a YouTube short from earlier this morning where I actually have footage of me fighting Murmur on Deep Archimedia. It sort of struggled a little bit against the boss. But still, like I said, I did the most damage. It's not like it was anything crazy against the boss, but at the same time, I mean, I was steadily just shooting the boss and doing a ton of damage. It was great killing the Murmur. The regular Murmur enemies on that high level, Steel Path, it just melts Steel Path enemies. I hope you check out this build and try it for yourself. All right, everybody, this is Zombie Heads. We'll catch you in another video.